SportsMatters TV, bringing the sports home. SportsMatters TV, I'm joined by Cork sensation Billy Clarke, a man I've been watching since 2003, back in the Maymount days, the local Cork League days. I always remember Anthony Fenton and all the lads on about you back in the day as well. But Billy, how's things with you, bud?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm getting through it like everyone else. It's a strange time. Obviously no football to play and none on the telly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just hard just keeping fit every day. We've all been given a program to do.
Yeah.
And we're all just following that really.
Definitely, and it's different. Like, it's different territory. Obviously, we've never ever experienced anything like this. It's definitely hard for the footballer in the world today. Definitely.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like I mean, I don't think this will ever happen again either. Like the complete lockdown on everything, like every sporting event, everything just completely shut down, and it's kind of given everyone. Well, hopefully, it's given everyone a bit more perspective on kind of what they do, what they take for granted, and so on. I know with me, it's kind of been good to just have pure family time where we don't plan anything, and we don't nothing's organized. We haven't got to take the kids anywhere or anything. It's just purely us five together, and it's kind of enjoying it really.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's nice, I suppose, in that perspective, and it's always good to spend a bit more time with the family. Like Billy, it's been an incredible career for you so far, and you're still only a baba. I always say you're the same age as myself, 32. But like, it all started for you obviously in Cork. You made a name in Cork. You made that big move to Ipswich. How did you find the transition from obviously local Cork kind of stuff to the big leagues in England?
You know what? I was young moving over. I was 15. I didn't actually officially start till I was 16. I think it was because of kind of legal reasons, really. So I was over there and I was just training 6 months before I actually had to. And I found it difficult. More so, I was the youngest in the family, so kind of still the baby, and I was the first one to leave home, and I found it difficult more that way than anything else. I didn't really think of home when I was actually playing and training and everything was happening. It was more when I had time back in the digs, back in the house where we lived. I mean, there was still seven lads in there. There was about 5 Irish boys. Cathal Lorden was there with me. We roomed together for about 3 years. And it was more so when we were having our time by ourselves that I really missed home, and if it wasn't for a couple of people at Ipswich at the time, I probably would have come back. But I stuck with it, and it's worked out well for me.
Definitely. No, I always remember. I was obviously a big Cork City fan. Obviously, I'd watch when all the local Cork lads would move to England. I'll always watch out for them. But obviously, that FA Cup, like the Youth FA Cup, is huge. It's we've seen some of the biggest players come from that. Tell us about that experience. Obviously, you were instrumental throughout that campaign.
Yeah, that was phenomenal achievement looking back, because it's never going to happen again. Like with obviously the money coming into filtering down into under 23 level, under 18 level for Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, United, all them teams. I mean, they've got players playing in their youth team now that they've paid £1 million for, and so on. And for the Championship club to win it, my only issue with it is not enough of us have gone on to do well from it. Like, it's you look at the team we've played in the final. Southampton, they had Walcott, Nathan Dyer, Bestie up front. They had
Lallana, I think was
Lallana on the bench. Bale, I don't think he was in and around the squad, but I don't think he was actually got on. I mean, he was a few years younger, but
yeah.
And look, they've probably got over 1,000 Premier League appearances between them, and we've got 2, and they've both come from Owen Garvin. Obviously, I missed out being injured, but they both come from just one player, and that's probably not good enough, really, from I don't know, from us and from whatever happened in between.
Yeah, okay. When you look back at that squad, as you say, it was yourself. Obviously, Shane Supple on goal and stuff. It was a tremendous team, and it's definitely easy to say that team probably underachieved. Moving on, to the bigger ranks and stuff.
Yeah, I think they have. If you look at the top, obviously every player in that team would have wanted to play in the Premier League, and it only happened for one of them. And for a team that was the best in the country, in the FA Cup, like Youth Cup. I mean, I know it's only a cup knockout and all that, but we still won it, and we were probably classed as the best team in the country. And it's to kind of not, I think there's only probably 2 or 3 still playing, or there's only about 4 or 5 who made an actual career since then.
Yeah.
So it's underachieved in that sense.
And making that big step, obviously, Billy, doing the magic with the U team. You made that step into the senior team. Tell us about your debut. Obviously, everyone back home rooting for you. What was it like to make your senior debut?
Yeah, it was. I remember it was Cardiff away on a might have been Tuesday night. It was, I think. Yeah. You know what? It might have been a Monday night, actually. I'm not sure. And I travelled with the squad, and got told, "Oh, you're going to be on the bench." So it was Cardiff's old ground as well, which is a fairly hostile environment. So I was on the bench, and I remember, like, if when you're warming up, the side you warm up, it must be where all the like heavy fans are, hardcore fans, and the smell of like weed and all drink and just getting abused, like as I was just having a stretch. And like I was 17 years old, and I was like, cool, this is pretty intense. So yeah, we went 1-0 down, and the manager brought me on in about the 60 odd minute, and I went on a little dribble, got fouled, and we scored from the free kick. And about 5 minutes later, one of our defenders got sent off. So I was obviously the most inexperienced, the youngest. I got subbed back off again. So I was like, this is tough. But I remember my agent was living around Liverpool, and after the game, Joe Royle got a lift back with us, and I went back to his place for a night, and I was in the back seat, and him and Joe Royle were talking, and I was delighted and so happy to have played, but I was thinking, just been double subbed, and then funnily enough, my first start, I got taken off at half time by Joe Royle as well. So I was thinking, my first 2 appearances, I've just been kind of sacrificed both times.
These things happen, but obviously, you've had a fantastic career to date. Like, you played with some huge clubs. Obviously, Ipswich. You spent a bit of time in Scotland. Obviously, Sheffield United on loan. I loved your run at Blackpool. Tell us about Blackpool. Obviously, a fantastic club.
Yeah, that would come straight after Ipswich. My last season in Ipswich, I went on loan to 3 different teams. And looking back then, I scored 18 goals from League 1 and 2 in that season. And I still ended up getting released from Ipswich. So I was kind of like, spoke to a few teams, was going to sign for Swindon. They were in League 1 at the time. And there was a few others kind of. I just got promoted with Brentford. That was the back end. So they were in League 1 as well. But Ian Holloway just got the job at Blackpool, and my agent got in touch with him, and we met each other on a service station, like I think, I don't know where it was, the M1 or somewhere like that, and I had a chat with him, and I ended up being his first signing for Blackpool, and I remember first couple of weeks training, it was still pre-season, and the squad was still quite disjointed, and I remember speaking to my friends and going, we're getting relegated here. Like, I thought that, like, the facilities weren't great, it was just seen very off the cuff. Everything was so off the cuff, and coming from such a professional, top class facility like Ipswich, I was thinking, yeah, we're getting relegated. And yeah, like playing for Ian Holloway was the best time in my career, I think. Really, the enjoyment he gives you, the enthusiasm, the just every days you're having a laugh.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just infectious enthusiasm that he has, rubbed off on all the boys, and we just seem to gel together. And I always think like a team spirit obviously gets built around winning games, but on the drop of a hat, who's going on a night out. And there used to be, no joke, there used to be about 14, 15 of us within an hour's notice. We'd all like, who fancies going out, and they'd be like, everyone turn up. And that doesn't really happen that often, because everyone's like got families and stuff, but for some reason it was back then. And he just got this kind of bond going with all of us, and we kind of just built momentum, and we had some very good players as well. Like, he signed obviously Charlie Adam, who was our main player, and got him for what's a snippet now from Rangers, and he made some good loan signings and stuff, and it was just a incredible season we had. And even to this day now, we're all in a WhatsApp group and we all still speak. So
that's unreal. And like you Billy, you were fairly lucky with a few injuries. Obviously, when they got promoted to the Premier League and stuff, obviously it's kind of hard, But that championship run was incredible. Like, when we watched it, even the playoffs and stuff, that must have been like a good time in your career. Like,
yeah, it was. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what Ian Holloway does. He has this way of. I played about 18, 19 games. I was injured for 3 months as well during that season, but the last 12 games of that season, I didn't kick a ball. Like, I didn't come off the bench or nothing. But he has this knack of, and this way of player management, that even when you're not playing, you're still enjoying it, and you still feel important. And there's been managers throughout my career where it's the starting 11, and if you're not playing, then you're nearly deadwood. Like it's the starting 11 come this way, everyone else just go over there and do play a game of head tennis or something. But Ian Holloway's, he has it like that. Everyone trains the exact same, so when he does make changes, everyone just slots in seamlessly, and you don't feel kind of lower down the pecking order than others are, and so on. Everyone just feels the exact same, and that's kind of hard to do as a manager, I suppose, when you've got 20 odd lads who all think they should be playing. And yeah, even at Grimsby now, he still does the same thing, and he has the same enthusiasm for his ways, and it rubs off on all the boys.
Definitely. Speaking of that move to Grimsby, obviously, COVID-19's put everything on a halt, but you've obviously enjoyed your time there so far.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a tough couple of years, really. In the grand scheme of it, it's down at Charlton. I was loving it. I was really enjoying my football. I was playing really well, and then obviously I had a terrible injury again. And then from that, getting fit from that injury, I just never was able to get back into the team, and was never got in a run of games where I was building up fitness, and so it was always kind of, well, I'm bit part playing in certain teams, and come at the summer, coming off the back of getting relegated with Bradford, I was in at Bolton training for a bit, and that was gonna happen, and Phil Parkinson ended up leaving, so the new manager come in and didn't want to do it, and I was in there for six weeks, so I put it was all pretty much done, and my agent and myself weren't really talking to other clubs, because I was going to go there, and for being down south as well in Charlton to being back home, like I didn't want to move away again, and so logistically it was good for me, and so when Phil left and the new manager come, he didn't want to do it, then there was nothing else really. It was too late in the window. It was the deadline day in the window. I mean, I could have signed any time, but clubs already had their players, and there wasn't a lot there. There was nothing really. So it wasn't until October. So I was training every day. It wasn't until October that Ryan Lowe at Plymouth rang me, and my criteria in the summer was stay at home within about an hour and a half travel.
Yeah.
I ended up literally in the furthest club in Britain, and I had to go. It was either that or hang them up.
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't ready for that. Like I'm nowhere near ready for that. So I went down there, and again I was behind on my fitness because they all had 2 months ahead of me, and it took me a while to get up to speed, and the lads were flying, and I didn't play as much as I wanted there, and then when the opportunity come to go back to Grimsby, I spoke with Ian Holloway, and he just said, I want you to come up here. I think you need to be around your family, and that's when you play the best, is when you're with your family and you're happy and all that. And I was like, well, you're right. And so I went there, and I've enjoyed it, every bit of it. There's a couple of lads who live around here, and we drive in together, and I'm getting home every night, and I'm doing kind of just the stuff that you take for granted, like bringing the boys to football training, taking them swimming, like stuff that I was missing out on all the time. For basic, I was living down in London on my own as well, so I was missing out for 2 years. I was missing out on all them kind of everyday things that you do with them, but it's not until you're actually away that you kind of realise what you're missing out on. So to come back and to be home now is just priority for me.
It's huge. Well, Billy, we had a couple of questions. Obviously, there's lads like myself that have been fans of yours since day one, right? Graham says, will we ever see you wear the Cork City shirt? Is that possible? Obviously, you're in England so long. But maybe in 3 years or 4 years.
No, it is something that has crossed my mind. Like, I would like to. Obviously, my whole family are still live in Cork. My sister lives in Eastbourne and by Brighton, but it is something that would interest me, given the right opportunity there, and to go and play for your home club is something that you can be proud of, and it would be good, and I'd enjoy it.
Definitely. Matt's a massive Bradford fan. We had him on Twitter. He said, obviously the Bradford fans adore you, Billy. What do they mean to you?
Yeah, I love them. Yeah, it's one of the things that I love most about the club. Really, it's the fans are they're just so down to earth and just good people. Like, I wouldn't say they're just good people. They're you can go walk past them in the street, and they just have a normal chat, and just normal good people that love football, and they're passionate about their football. They get 15, 16, 17,000 to League Two games, which is phenomenal, and it's why I've stuck up here, really. Like, why I've moved up here. The boys are in school. We just love where we live, and love everything about it, and the fans and the people are a big pulling point for that.
Definitely. Now, myself and Steve had a big, like, we always agree on this, okay? Underage with Ireland, you were always, under 19, 21. Did a senior call ever come close, Billy? Because, like, myself and Steve always, agree that should have come in at some stage.
I don't think I was that far off. It. Yeah. There was a time when I was playing for Ipswich at 18, and they were starting to do this, or like they'd have the senior squad, but then they'd have the next. They would, so that they weren't really, the way they name like 40-man squads and go to Portugal for a few days. I can't remember them ever doing that, but they used to do a B squad that was like likes of, I don't know, I think like Stephen Hunt and a couple of them were in it now and again, and the lads who were kind of going to be next in line. I got called up to that a couple of times, and I got injured before one of them, so I didn't end up going. But like that was as close as I got, really.
I'm surprised because I always said you should have been in. There was plenty of squads there, but the fact that you were always on the brink, it kind of breaks my heart that you didn't make the senior squad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it would have been. It would have been nice, wouldn't it? I think because I got in the Ipswich team quite early, I was playing 21s at 18, 19, so maybe that was the step up that they planned, and then it just never materialised. Like, it's something that I would have been a dream come true. But yeah, it's just one of them things.
There's still time, Billy. You're only young. There's still time.
Yeah. Don't know if they watch League Two games.
And last of all, Billy, just for all the young lads today, right, in all the clubs around Cork, like New Farm, like all everything, what advice can you give to them? Obviously, it's very hard leaving home when you're young, but all these lads that have been watched by the scouts and stuff, what advice can you give to
them? I would say it takes a huge sacrifice. You've got to, if you're doing it, you've got to fully buy into it, and if you go half-hearted on it, then you're either going to end up, you will end up just going back home, whether that's because of homesickness or because you haven't put enough hard work and effort into it and you just get released or whatever. But you need to go full on, and you need to enjoy it, really. Like, there was times when I played for Ireland under like 19 game, maybe in Dublin or somewhere, and I had a flight booked to go back to Ipswich, but I'd end up getting a train on my own down to Cork just to go home, and I wouldn't tell anyone. And there was times when that was happening, but then I needed a bit of persuasion. You need good people around you to kind of usher you in the right direction and guide you, really. And that's what I had. So you just need good people, sacrifice and hard work, and it's a possibility. It's not a guarantee, but it certainly gives you the best foundation to do it. And if it doesn't work out, then at least you can say that you gave it your all.
Definitely. Now, I know you miss your family and friends back in Cork, but what else do you miss? Any takeaways? I know you eat healthy and you're always by the book, but do you miss anything else back home?
I do, yeah. To be honest, it's only the older I got, really, the kind of more I miss it. When I was 22, 23, like, coming home wasn't a priority for me, really. It was like I'd use my summers to go away on holidays and do that, and but it's only been the older I've got, like, so every time my mum and dad come over, they bring over like bottles of rock shandy, like all stuff like that, all the chocolate stuff and potatoes, and we come back, sometimes go to Murphy's Chipper, go to just going in town, like to go in town with my brother and have a few drinks in town, going to the local, just being around the lads and having a pint, like, it's something that kind of, like I said, you take for granted until you don't actually do it. Going down to Quinlan's in Blackpool for a couple of pints and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just the kind of routine stuff that a lot of the lads do every day, like our weekends, and I don't do at all, really. So, and then it's just seeing my family who I don't see only when I go home. And last year we hired an Airbnb and went down to West Cork for 5 days with like my whole family, and just being down there and with all the kids running around, and my mum and dad and brother and sisters, and in-laws and all that. It was nice.
It's always nice. Well, Billy, you're 32. You're only a baba. 4 or 5 more years in the Championship, League 1, League 2, and hopefully we see you back in City for 1 year. Playing with Cork City. That'll be ideal.
Yeah, that would be the dream. Yeah.
That'll be the dream. Listen, I'll see you, no doubt, in the near future. Stay safe, my man, and tell the family I was asking for him.
Thanks for this.
Anytime,
See you later on.
Thanks, bud. Be good.
See ya.